Hi guys, and welcome to A Talking Matter, where we have conversations that matter. This is going to be episode 1 of a series we're calling, drum roll please, Mind Over Matter. So this is going to be the series where we talk all things mental health in general, within the African community, within families, just all things mental health, because I think it's really important that we start having more and more of these conversations. And so I'm going to kick it off by talking about my personal mental health journey, not only just so that you guys can see why this topic is so important to me, but I think it's also really important in helping to open up, destigmatize mental health, but also help and encourage others to do the same. Because guys, opening up, talking it out is literally one of the only ways you can get better, improve, because somebody's gotta know. Somebody's gotta know. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm hoping to achieve today with you guys. But before we do kick off on this episode, I do have a couple of disclaimers I gotta put out there, okay? 1, trigger warning. Please do note that this will be an episode we could talk about self-harm, suicide, depression, anxiety. So just please be aware that we will be discussing those things, and if that's going to trigger you, this might not be the video for you, okay? 2, please, if you are feeling suicidal, really depressed, really anxious, I'm gonna put up here some helplines that you guys can call and that can help you. Talk to anybody, talk to these helplines, talk to your family, talk to the GP, literally just talk to someone, because guys, your life is valuable, you have a purpose, and God loves you, okay? So please. And then number 3, it's also important that, guys, this is just going to be my personal experience, my personal journey. Please do not take it for medical advice, okay? Follow the instructions of your GP, of your therapist, your psychologist, whoever your medical or person taking care of your mental health is. Follow their advice, okay? And the final one is, guys, I promise you, I'm great, I'm fine. It's a chapter that I'm happily have moved on from. I've closed. I'm so much more better now. I'm great, okay? So then, and now that we've gotten all of that out of the way, let's begin story time. So I would say that I went through depression, anxiety for like almost half my life now. I'm only 20, but I would say like a good over 8 to 9 years I was in that kind of space, which is a long time to be in that space. But I think that also came out because I'm a very private person. I don't really like to talk to people about things that are going on like that. Do you get what I mean? Like, it's just, I like to hold it in my heart. But that's like the worst thing you could possibly do when it comes to mental health. I think that's really important. So that's why I'm gonna come on here and tell y'all my experience, even though it's scary. Ew, scary. Yeah, so I would say when I was a lot younger, I just took it so hard when I felt like I ever disappointed parents. Like anybody would, nobody wants to disappoint their parents, but whenever I got told off for anything, I took it to the extreme, and I think it really affected me that like I just wanted to be perfect. And that kind of, to me, how I thought about it was like, I've like failed my parents. It would be like over the silliest thing, guys, but I feel like I failed my parents. I've disappointed them. Like, what am I supposed to do in this life? I'm a terrible person. Like, it would kind of be those kind of thoughts, and relate to like things like, why am I here? Like, what's the point in all of this? Like that kind of thing. Like, everybody would be happier without me, but like not in the dramatic way, like genuinely. I would also say that a big part of it for me was like, listen, your girl's always been a bit of a dickums, okay? I've always had some meat on my bones. But like growing up and going through that, never got bullied or anything, but I think that also something that just kind of like lowered my self-esteem a lot. Not gonna lie, it's still something I'm working on at the moment, but like that also coupled with it just didn't make me feel like, it was all about like worth. Like, didn't see my like worth as a person, or like why I was here, like what was the point of my existence. And that was a big thing for me, especially when I was younger. And it was thoughts that I would like write down, and I would like pray before I'd be crying and I'd be praying to God. I'd like type on my phone because I knew God could see what I was typing anyway, but he knew I was talking to him. And I was like, back in the BlackBerry days, guys, this was ages ago, and I was like, yo God, like there are people dying every day who want to live, like, and I'm here and I'm telling you, I will take their place. Like, I will die. Like, it's all good. Like, we all good in the hood. Like, do you get what I mean? Like, that was the kind of thing I was like, yo God. And I used to have beef, God, like, God, like, you're not listening to me. I'm telling you, it's okay, it's all right. I don't gas to be here. I don't gas to be here. Like, and God would kind of just not listen to me, not answer me. I guess I'm grateful to God now, because listen, God always has a plan. But yeah, so that would kind of be like very like regularly my thought process, regularly what I was thinking, regularly what I was praying, crying, feeling. And I would like to say, like, whilst I was feeling that, like during the day, I was like during the day talking to people, laughing with friends. Good, fine, I can do that. I can hack that. My friends are funny. If they're funny, I'm gonna laugh. Do you get what I mean? I would go to school, go through the day, you know, still like be like, okay, God, if you're forcing me to survive, like I had a plan, you know, what I wanted to do when I was older, what unis I wanted to be in, that kind of thing. And I'm not gonna lie, I've been working from that since I was really young. And I think that kind of pressure I was even putting on myself, like in year 7, like it's not needed. Like, it wasn't needed, it wasn't necessary. Like, applying to university, nobody's asking you what you got in your year 7 spelling test, let's be honest. So it was the kind of thing where it was like no need to put that kind of pressure on myself. And also, when you think about it, it's kind of just breeding this very pressured, negative environment for myself. So that's why I would always say to like younger people, like, enjoy school. Like, obviously don't like mess around and play around, but like just try your best, and that's okay. I think during that time, to the glory of God, I never like properly attempted suicide. I would say properly. Like, it was always like a thought, always a thing in my head at that time of my life, where it would be like, you know, when you're like, you know, when you're putting the knives away and like in the drawers, you're just like, what would happen if I stab myself? It would be something like that. Or like one particular day I took like 2 paracetamols, and then like 2-3 paracetamols, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna stop now. Like, guys, God is good, because I don't know what stopped me all these times, but I can only say it's God. So like, and then it stopped, and I felt really stupid after. It's that kind of things that happened a lot while I was younger. And I think, again, I kept those feelings to myself, and I didn't really understand them. Like, I wouldn't go, oh my gosh, I'm depressed right now. Like, it just, when you're like, what, 12, 13, 14, like, you don't really know that much about it, especially in the time we were growing up. It wasn't that big of a, like, it wasn't as big as it is now, and there wasn't so much emphasis on it as there is now. So I just kind of went about my day, went about my life, thought it was normal. And then I'd say that I moved from that stage of like, God, I want to die, like I would kill myself, got to a stage where it was like, fine, I won't kill myself. I don't want to do that. I don't do that to my family. I don't do that to anyone. I'm going to just die. So I'd be like, Lord, give me cancer. Like, do the things like, I'd be walking to the station and walk in the middle of the road, be like, if a car come hit me, a car gonna hit me. And it was like, that was another kind of stage in that like journey that I was in. And then after a while, it kind of stopped being that. I was like, fine, I don't want to die, but I don't want to live. I think the I don't want to live phase was my longest phase. Friends would be like, I want to live till I'm, and I'm like, why do people want to live long? I never like understood it, never got it. I never wanted to live long. Now I know that like a lot of people are like, how does nobody notice this girl is feeling these things, thinking these things? And the thing is, like, I didn't tell nobody. Honestly, didn't tell anybody. And I think that as I got older, then I had like 2 friends who probably knew. What happened to your family, girl? What happened to you? Listen, I'm not gonna lie to you. I feel like my mom's tried to have these kind of conversations just to make sure like I'm okay, like in general. But I'm the kind of person who someone says, "How are you?" I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. Like, and that's why like when people tell me I'm fine, I'll try and ask more, because it's a very easy way for people to like dead the conversation, not want to continue, not want to, do you get me, get into it. And like I know for me that was kind of like my blanket, I'm fine. And I remember like once I was literally come home from sick form, like my cousin lives with me, and I can't remember what happened. I think I told her to move and she didn't move or something. Like it was over the stupidest thing, or like I wanted to sit there and she was sitting there and she wouldn't move. I had a full-blown breakdown. She was so confused and so scared, like what is going on. The mom was like, what is going on? And then, you know, she called me out the day. She was like, are you okay? Like, what's going on? We were talking about it. She's like, are you depressed? I'm like, no, I'm not depressed. And I'm telling you guys, hand on heart, I didn't believe I was depressed. I'm the queen of denial. And, you know, I was in denial for years, because something would happen and in the moment, I'd be like, I'm not depressed. But then if I was in a time and space where I was a bit better, I'd be like, oh yeah, I was depressed then. But I'd get to another stage and I'd be like, but I'm not depressed now. That was then. And that was kind of my pattern of thinking. And it's a very bad pattern of thinking, to be in denial, because you can't fix something. You can't try and heal something that you don't think is there. So it's firstly getting to that stage of admitting what it was and knowing what it was. And I've had friends say, go to therapy. Like, I'd be like, for what? I'm fine. I'm great. I'm good. What are you talking about? So, like, I think it's really, really, really important. I think that's one of the big things, to not deny how you're feeling and to not, like, disqualify it. I'm looking for a word, but I can't think of it, because I used to do, like, especially a lot, I used to think there's no reason for me to be depressed. I'm doing the course I wanted to do at a university that I like. I have a great family. I love my family so much. They're amazing people. They're like my best friends. And then, like, I've never been bullied, never been abused. Like, I was like, there's nothing wrong with my life. And I think a lot of the time when I was growing up, that was something that happened, that I thought, I was like, there's actually no reason for me to be depressed, so I can't be depressed, because there is no reason. What is the reason? There is nothing wrong with my life. My life is fine. And I kind of used that to, someone gave me the word in the comments, but I'm going to say disqualify. It's like to not make it seem, I can't think of the word right now, but like disqualify my feelings and make them feel like they're fake, like they shouldn't be that, like, so it can't be that, and feed into my denial. So that was like kind of where it got to. And I think alongside that, with a lot of people, depression and anxiety kind of come hand in hand. Like, I've always been like a shy, kind of socially awkward person, and I, again, in denial. But your body will tell you, okay, your body tells you when things in your mind aren't right. And I think I'm the kind of person that I will notice the body things. So like, I used to have bouts growing up that, like, chest tightness. I feel like I can't breathe. And I tell people, like, I feel like I can't breathe. Mom would be like, it's stressed. I'm like, but I'm not stressed. I'm not stressed about anything. I'm not stressed. I'm not scared. I'm not worried. I remember it got to a point where, listen, I don't go to the GP unless it's, like, it's something that's been bothering me for too long. Like, I can't hack it anymore. That's the only time that, like, I will go to the GP. I went to the GP and I was like, yo, I can't breathe. Like, she was like, and this was like GCSE time, and she was like, I think it's stress. She was like, are you worried about your exams? I was like, I'm not worried. I'm not stressed. I'm not anything. And I kind of just carried that in me, and I never understood it. But guys, it's anxiety, it's stress. And especially like at night, like when I want to sleep, like lying down and getting that chest, it's anxiety and it's stress. And I was just in denial. So I've had that kind of alongside it as well. And I think social situations, I remember, like, I'm the kind of person that if someone gets my order wrong, I will eat it like that if I can. But mom was always like, no, go tell them, like, what do you mean? I'll purposely send me to do things. Like, when she orders, like, if she ever gets McDonald's rare, she'll be like, I want fresh chips. I only eat fresh chips. She'll be like, can you please ask them for fresh chips? I can't do it. I feel like I'm bothering someone. I feel like I'm stressing them out. I get so scared to ask for things like that. And mom will be like, why didn't you ask them? Or she'll get like a cup and they didn't, like it's like halfway filled, and she'll be like, tell them to refill the cup. I'll be like, but mama, like I was terrified to do those kind of things. If you can relate to your mom being extra in restaurants, comment down below, let us know. But I couldn't do those kind of things. I'd go to places and I wouldn't, like new places, I wouldn't really make friends like that because I kind of keep to myself. I didn't want to do that. Saying hello to people is like one of the scariest things for me. Like, I don't know, I just feel like you're automatically judging me. But I've made a conscious effort now to really do better. Something that I noticed, and it's something that can be quite hindering, especially when you need to like connect for like looking for help with employment, looking for help with career progression. Like it's a skill you need to like get further in life. So I had to be like, no, and really go out there and force myself to talk to people, even though it makes my chest feel tight. Okay. But literally, so I kind of continued with that, had that on and off chest tightness for a really extended period of time. And I got to a point where again I called the GP, and this time I kind of knew it was anxiety. So I went into the GP kind of knowing it was anxiety, and that's kind of why I booked the appointment. It's kind of something I wanted to discuss at that point. I was finding like, we need to start, sorting out these issues. And it was like the day before my GP appointment, and we went to Bible study at my church, and student sessions, and the pastor was like, somebody here has really bad chest tightness, like you can't breathe. And I was like, that was me. And he was like, listen, God is saying you need to start talking to people, you need to start, you're holding a lot in. And I was there like, yeah, okay, yeah. Guys, I hate doing that. So I decided that to avoid talking to people, I was going to talk to myself. So I did little recordings of videos of me just talking out, trying to understand where these feelings came from, what exactly am I feeling, and I would just record them and then hide those videos in my iPad, just kind of doing what I thought was self-therapy or whatever, that I would listen back to it, try and understand. That was my cop-out of doing what I was actually supposed to do, which is actually talk to people. So please guys, talk to people. But I went to the GP anyway. He was like, yeah, I think you have asthma. Did lung checks. And I was like, I don't have asthma. I know I don't have asthma. There's no way I have asthma. I've never had asthma, ever. Because and in my head, I hiking you. It was just like, nah, I think you have asthma, blah, blah. Anyway, it wasn't the type of consultation where I felt comfortable to be like, nah, I think I have anxiety. Because I just feel like, I don't know you, never seen you before. It was quite a rush type situation. So I just took it and I was like, okay, cool. I bought the asthma pumps and I was like, sure, I'll do the test for 3 weeks, see what happens, blah, 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 blah. Again, obviously nothing really changed like that because I knew I didn't have asthma. Then he sent me to do a test, and then I did the test. Never got the results. I don't know what those results say to this day. But in my heart of hearts, I knew I didn't have asthma, so I wasn't really that fussed about it, and I never used those pumps again. So they're just sitting in my house. But that's kind of what happened with that. And I went, okay then, and I went back to my usual life, and do have these times where I think nowadays it's mostly at night, lying down where I feel like I can't breathe, or it's really intense anxiety and whatever. So I got to a stage now where I'm kind of just living with it, as I have been for many, many, many years. And I think the analogy that the Lord dropped in my heart yesterday, I was overthinking, but it was literally imagine you've been carrying you carry this really, really heavy bag. So initially you feel it, it's really heavy, it's really uncomfortable, you're struggling, but eventually you get used to the weight of the bag. You just get used to it, you keep going, you keep carrying the bag. And then how I would describe it is you have times in your journey where you have to walk up a hill, and it's those times where you have to walk up a hill where life gets a bit difficult, life gets a bit challenging, and it triggers, you feel it, you feel the weight of the bag again. It's heavy, it's hard to walk up this hill, but then you get onto flat land, and then you're good again. You're okay carrying it, and then you have a backache, and you're like, oh, doctor, my back hurts. And the doctor's like, have you been carrying anything heavy? What's going on? Did you injure it? And you're like, no, my bag's light. It's lightweight. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't carry much heavy weight, but my back hurts. There's something wrong with my back, and doctor's trying to be like, yo, like you're carrying a heavy weight. So I think like that's kind of the best way to describe my experience, which literally, like, initially at the beginning was really, really heavy, really, really deep, getting used to that weight. And then I got to a point where I was okay living with it. I was okay, I was content, and I was like, it is what it is. Like, this is life. This is how life is and will be for me. And that's not to say that I didn't want it to be like that, because if you're a church kid, you know, you gonna know this, but like every year you have prayer points for every year. And so every year I'd be like, God, this is the year I'm not depressed. God, this is the year I'm not depressed. Every single year I was still depressed. I never really understood it. I was waiting for God to do like some kind of miracle. I'd literally be like, and then this year it's gonna be perfect, everything's gonna be fine because God's gonna do a miracle. Bloody, 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 blah. Sometimes, listen, God can do a miracle, and for some people that is their journey. But most of the time you need to put in work. You need to put in work. You need to talk. You need to lay it out. You need to seek help. You need to seek better. And I didn't do that for years and years and years and years, until I think this year, properly, like I would say this academic year, so starting September. So obviously I lived with friends and stuff, so we used to have conversations about how we're feeling. We used to do after Bible study at church, we would come home and do our own kind of prayers and kind of just talk about ourselves, any questions that we had on our mind, anything that's bothering us, anything about the house. It was kind of like a meeting that we did, and I think then I opened up a bit more, not fully, but a bit more. And then it got to a point, I think this year after January, guys, my notes, so my notes flew away. We don't talk about it. And I think that was like a big thing for me. I was really upset about it. And then I was like, no, I'm fine, it's okay, God is in control, it is what it is. And then it kind of got more and more intense for me in terms of like just feeling low, feeling different. Like it was, I would wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is to check my timetable. What lectures do I have today? Like, do I have to go in? Is there a point in me going in? What's the point in me going in? And I'm not the type that misses lectures. So I knew deep down I was going to go to the lecture. But I just needed that moment to be like, do I really have to? Like, because left to me, I would stay in bed. I was kind of in that mood where I would just stay in bed all day. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to, like, I was just, it was a bad time. It was a bad time. So that was kind of what happened, and it got to a point where I was like, I can't do any work, and that was even making it worse. Like now I'm like, I'm trying to do work. I need to do work because I got to get this degree. Okay, I need this degree. So I was like, I can't do any work. I can't do any work. And it was stressing me out. So it got to a point where I was like, okay, no, you actually need to address this. So it was like Bible study, and I went to our pastor. He's an amazing guy, and I was like, I can't do any work. I'm really struggling, and I'm expecting him to be like, don't worry, pray, like God's got you. What is it about the work? Maybe it's a bit difficult. Nah, he was like, is this got to do with the thing like told me about let me rewind. Some point this academic year, he prayed for people who had depression. So he said, anybody with depression come stand forth. Prayed. So he knew that technically I had a history. And we had a conversation afterwards, and I was like, yeah. And he was like, cool, just talk. Try and talk to people, blah, 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 blah. You're seeing a theme here. But along those lines. So then, fast forward back to where I was. And I was like, he was like, has this got something to do with the depression? I was like, I don't know, maybe. He's like, I think, like, he was basically saying, like, yeah, it is. And, like, it's something that I need to, again, sort out. That's the root of the problem. And I was basically saying that, in all fairness, I said to him, like, I'm content with where I'm at. Like, I'm not looking for anything better at this point. This is the way my life is supposed to be. Well, in all fairness, like, you shouldn't be content. Like, it's not the place to be. It's not the place that you want to be. And him himself having gone through kind of something similar was like, it's not the place to be. Like, life is so much better once you're out of it. And I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, cool, sure. Okay, so then after, like, I think a couple of weeks after that, it got to a point where I was like, I cannot continue like this. So I went through like the support kind of well-being like online thing for the area that I do university in. A couple of days later, they were gonna like email me, give me a time, do like a first consultation where they basically just assess you. It's basically an assessment. And I was like, cool. Like I'm gonna do it, guys. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get better. Because I just cannot continue like this. Then what happened was I went to Bible study. It was all about deliverance. He was like, we gonna talk about deliverance today. That's really what God wants to do today. And so we were like, okay. So we were praying, whatever. And then like praying, and I was seeing people like really get delivered from her, like really. And then pastor was like, there's some people here, you're in it, but there's something that there's like walls you've got that are blocking you from really tapping into the presence of God that was really there that day. And so I was like, yeah, not gonna, that's me. So he prayed over me. After he prayed over me, it was really weird, and we prayed. I was locked. I barely blinked. I was sat there like this. I couldn't move. Like my body was feeling all types of weird. Like I couldn't do anything. Like I was hearing, but I wasn't there. I wasn't present. I wasn't there. So we had finished Bible study, closed. And my friend's like, Ire. And I'm not blinking, I'm not moving, I'm not doing anything. She's like, so then she calls one of my friends, like, yo, there's something wrong with her. What's going on with her? Is she okay? I'm like, then the pastor comes up, he's like, are you sure you're good? I'm like, he says something and I laugh. I do, like, everything is like, like, giggle kind of, but straight face. And I'm like, yeah, I'm like nodding, yeah, I'm good. And then one of my friends came and she spoke, yo, Elizabeth, let me just at you, because sis. So she came, she spoke to me, she talked to me. We had like a small disagreement before, and we were just talking about it, and like she was talking about it and just saying like apologise for whatever. And then she started saying stuff, and I started I was crying like I've never cried like that before in my life. It was like crying those 8 to 9 years of tears in one go for a very long time. Cried pure tears. But my Bible studies finished, we're supposed to be going home. I held people back I was crying for at least half an hour. Pure, I can't even describe it. And most of the time I don't cry. I cry in like I'm a very like empathetic person. I cry in movies, I cry in like seeing sad stuff, whatever, or thinking about sad things, but I've never cried like this. So most people have not seen me cry. So for the first time to see me cry and then to cry like this, yo. So it was like just a release. So then I went home and I was like, whew, like I just felt a bit lighter, like, thank you, Jesus. It happened at last, right? Maybe, who knows? We don't know. And then so that happens, we talk it out, whatever. Praise the Lord. We go to bed. Guys, I wake up on Thursday. Happy. What? Me? What? Guys, wake up on Thursday, happy. And I feel like it's such a weird, it's so weird to describe, but it's like literally a weight lifted off of you. Like, I was like, is this how people like live life? Like you wake up and like, obviously not every day I'm waking up happy, but like the joy in my heart was unreal. It was like, I just don't know how to describe it. I was just so happy. Like, and this was okay. So I was like, day 1, let me not get used to it. Day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5. What? So then I still had the mental health kind of checkup session I'm supposed to have. That got cancelled and then rescheduled for 2 weeks time. So now it's 2 weeks time. I'm still like pretty good. I'm still pretty happy, like living life, just like enjoying like enjoying living. Like I'm actually enjoying it, enjoying more being with my family, and I think it like I'm more willing to do things with my family. Like that kind of is where I'm at. And I did the call, and I voiced that. I said that, I'm not gonna lie to you, when I first contacted it, I was like this, and they were like, yeah, but having like spoken to me, they do feel like I did have like a recurring depression. But because she's not a doctor, she's a psychologist, she can't properly diagnose me, but that is kind of what it's sounding like. So that was something that I was aware of. I was like, okay, that's calm, that's cool. So, you know, that is where I'm at now. I'm really good. I'm in a really good place, quite happy. Obviously, like, there are days where you don't, like, it's naturally, you're not going to feel great every day. I'm like, even yesterday I wasn't feeling that great. I think in terms of like, to be honest, it's always work. But like not feeling like I did enough work, whatever, and that was kind of paying me, and it's heavy, and I was like, but every time I feel like, I'm just like, you know what, I step in my healing. Like, I might have a down day, but I'm not about to have a down life. Do you get what I mean? Like, I walk in that and I step in that, and I automatically feel a bit better. Like, obviously with the anxiety, I'm still working a lot on that. It's definitely nowhere near as bad as it was before. I know that like last night, naturally, because I knew I was going to try and do this today, it was bothering me, but I'm just, you know, working through that. I'm in such a better place, and I just really am grateful to God for that. And I know that, like, obviously everyone who watches this video, you might not believe there is a God, and that's, you know, that's your prerogative, that's your that's fine. It is what it is. But like for me personally, and this isn't a faith channel, but it's my channel and it plays a big part in my life, so it will naturally play a big part in this channel. But for me, like, God has been too real to me to not believe in God. Like, it's impossible for me not to believe in God at this point in my life. Like, he's just been too real, he's been too good, and grateful to God, really. But it's just like the key message here, and I really want people to understand, is validate your feelings. I got the word, guys. Validate your feelings. Like, if you're feeling like that, feel like that. Like, there's no point trying to force yourself to feel better. Like, if you're feeling like that, have a moment to sit in it, have a moment to feel it, digest it. If you're realizing that, yo, this is actually a long-term thing, like, talk to somebody. Like, please, guys, talk to somebody. Even if it's your GP, your parents, your friends. Like, it's not a good space or environment to put yourself in. And I think that the problem with therapy a lot of time is we see it. Okay, I personally saw it as something that was unavailable to me. Like, even if I went to the GP, it's not like they're going to give me a therapist. That's expensive. It's like a rich people thing. Like, you have to have money to do it. And I think that that's a really bad thing to think about. It can be available to you. Like, don't let that be a hindrance to you seeking help. But really talk. And I think that's kind of why I'm starting this channel. I really want people to talk about it, because I've seen how hard it was for me to talk about it, and where that led me, not good. So I really just kind of want to open this conversation, have us talking about this conversation, talking about this topic, and just kind of talk, like, seeing change and seeing people get better and feel better. And that's really all I want at the moment for you guys. I would just like to close by saying that there are 3 rules that I live by: love God, love yourself, love others. And I think if you're living like that, you're good. Don't put yourself down, you're good. And I think you're set, because you can't love other people without loving yourself, okay? Even if you don't do the first one. So yeah, thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.